What did you just say?
I said that one of the big demographic things that's moving our country right now is that the United States is moving from being a majority white population to a minority white population.
Mm-hmm.
They'll still be the largest minority
Yeah.
in the United States, but...
And how does that make you feel as white people?
It doesn't bother us at all, but we know that it bothers some white people.
Why do you think it bothers some white people?
There's a fear. There's a fear. They've bought into the idea that white is superior, so that's the white supremacy part. They bought into the narrative, the nonsense that this country was founded on white principles, ignoring the Native American influence and the Latino influence that's always been here, and negating the harm of the black influence that was, brought in by slavery.
Yeah.
And you ignore all of those things. You conveniently create this narrative in your mind that the U.S., the Constitution, the Revolutionary War, all of that was white people.
Mm-hmm.
And negating the immigrant part of it, negating the immigrants that continued to come over. And white is not a culture. It's just the color of the skin that happens to be, for people in the North, because we don't have that evolutionary growth.
Not even that, because white, Irish immigrants and Italian immigrants didn't even used to be considered white.
Right.
So that's always been...
grandparents on my dad's side were either immigrants or born and raised in the Boston area. And Boston, back at the turn of the previous century, the 19th century, the 18th to 19th to 20th century, it was very diverse in Boston, extremely diverse, and not a happy diversity, right?
Yeah.
They were, and most of those cultures, because I will say cultures, were fighting against each other. Yeah. And my grandfather was English, UK, Welsh, and my grandmother was Swedish, and that wasn't really looked at positively at the time.
Yeah, and Grandma Haglund was born in Sweden, right?
Born in Sweden, came over here around 2 or 3.
Yeah.
With
and that's who you're named after, right?
Yes.
Linnea. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there were segments of each of those cultures that were fighting. I'm sure there were segments that were probably getting along well, but still. And just like now, there are big segments of population that are making this transition with, and there are some that are, who knows what their motivations are. I'm sure it varies person to person to the extent of whatever, but I got to think that there's some type of subconscious, maybe guilt feelings, some worry that what we did to the Native Americans, the black population, is that they're going to do to us, which is...
I love this parents a lot, right? I love the fact that they are just saying the truths about their fears. Not necessarily them, right? They're talking about some white people who are really, really scared of the rise of black people, right? They turn around and they see black people everywhere. And it reminds them constantly of what they did to them. And now when they look at their own population, they find out that they are actually reducing. And there is this great fear going on right now that what if, even though the couple, very lovely couple, they said they are not part of those people, but they know that some other white people are actually very scared of this thing. But now, the truth is, why did even white people stop having kids, right? If you ask me, I'll say maybe it's what God wants. This is what God wants. Because you can imagine how people who are the largest population are scared of them going extinct. Do you understand? Like, They are scared of that thing more than anything. Anyways, let's keep watching the videos. I'll be back with the closing.
I mean,
do you have any like short pieces of wisdom or advice that you would say to a white person who you would say is coming from a place of fear or guilt or shame?
Instead of fear, try stepping outside that fear and get to know someone who is not white.
Yeah.
Because, in my family, there's a lot of integration of cultures.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean people married outside of whiteness.
Yeah.
And so that exposure, you learn differently. Oh, well, that's interesting,
Yeah.
And I think that we've tried to share that with the children, with all of you children. You're not children, all of our children growing up. Taking them out of the country when we could, right? Let's learn a new language. Let's learn a few vocabulary in this language because we're going to go visit there.
Even on the smallest of budgets, you made that. Yeah.
We tried.
And another thing is to try to distinguish between, for the people that you're listening to that are stoking your fear, try to distinguish between those people who just haven't worked it out in their heads yet and those people who have an agenda. And the racism is not necessarily what's driving them. There's maybe some greed behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
what about your parents? Obviously, they had a different lens, but I also feel pretty lucky that I don't believe they were bigots either. I think they actually did a lot of advocacy work.
my parents are his parents.
Both of your parents.
I was going to say, your dad was in World War II, and I think being stationed overseas, that he developed a lot of empathy for a lot of different. He was very empathetic.
He was in the South Pacific.
Yeah.
He was part of the time working as a medic's aide in the hospital ship, which meant he was an orderly cleaning up after horrendous things. And then he was in Japan briefly, during the, I don't know what,
And Bonnie's
whatever you call
brothers,
it.
too. All three of her brothers.
Right.
Grandma
that
Bonnie's
changes
brothers.
people
Yeah.
when you are in the midst of, and you're fighting together. Not that that's a good way to learn about other people, but it definitely changed them. And I never encountered bigotry from them. You can kind of hear it in some people. They'll just say something aside. Well, when I was a student at Bradley, people would complain. We had very few African American population, but some students would complain about them in the dorms, saying, you know how they are. They stay up late. And I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like
maybe they're not welcome.
Yeah.
Right? Or like you don't. I never knew a student who didn't stay up late. What are you talking about?
Well, and Grandma Bonnie, your mom, also was a teacher. Right?
And going back earlier in her life, they lived very poor. Grandpa, her dad was working as a farmer's helper. So
like a migrant farmer, a white migrant farmer. And my mom grew up very poor, very poor.
And she
in the West.
but she met Grandpa.
And she left home at 18 to go be a secretary in New York City, from Washington State to New York City.
How very musical theater.
I mean, she never did really tell that story of what prompted her to go so far, but more power to her. I guess that was the big city that everybody wanted to go to back in the 40s,
Plus,
and then,
she had lived on the coast, on the West Coast.
Yeah, might as well try the East
Tacoma
Coast.
and Seattle.
Some curiosity.
Yeah, and a farm, and very poor, and maybe she thought she could make her.
And then she met Grandpa.
They worked in the same company. Yeah, and then her grandmother back in Seattle was sick, and she went back home to take care of her, and my dad followed her. So romantic.
How romantic.
He quit his job.
That's a Tom Hanks movie right there.
He was pretty romantic to her.
Yes.
much to our chagrin.
They had 5 kids.
Yeah. And my dad's family,
Yeah.
they rented farmland
Yep.
in a situation that had some aspects of feudalism.
I mean, it's been a struggle for them
Yeah.
for as long as we've known them.
But I mean, at the time that he was growing up, that the curve was allowing farmers in that situation to put aside money to, get
Yeah.
out of debt and
Yeah.
build
Community.
some. And the community, was very interconnected.
We come from
traded work, they
Yeah.
traded machinery, they
we come from places where you are not alone.
Welcome back. Now let's talk like heart to heart. Do you think if Black people suddenly becomes the majority, right, in America, that they're going to enslave the white people? Do you think so? Or do you think that them becoming the majority will bring about a quality America? Like, that is what I'm thinking, in my own opinion. I feel when these people rise, I don't think they're going to rise to want to revenge what was done, what was meted on their ancestors, right? I feel these people will just rise and then teach them what true leadership look like, because them even coming from the bottom to the top here is a miracle itself. It shows, these people are actually chosen people, and God is really with them. You get it? So I think it's already a very big revenge. I don't think Black people will start saying, oh no, we don't want you to be in our spaces anymore. I don't think Black Americans are that, I don't think they are like that. This is me talking, right? I don't know. I also want to know your thoughts in the comments, because the Black American future, I am saying, is when they take over America finally, America is going to be beautiful. America will grow economically. Their culture will blossom, right? It will blossom, and they will become like an envy, a kind of, how do they say, a rose, a beautiful rose in the garden. That is what I think, and I know that would definitely happen. I don't really see these people coming to fight, to say this, but it means that what we are actually saying is coming, like it's coming very, very close. Like we're seeing it, like it's coming. And wow. You see that thing I'm telling you? But then do not misuse the opportunity as it comes, right? I know God that will make the way, right? He's going to actually grant you the wisdom to lead. Since I know that God has chosen Black people in America to showcase something, I know the way it's going to work. It's even going to marvel themselves. So I don't know why they are scared. Them going extinct and becoming the minority right now, for me, it's a fulfillment of the prophecy that is going to happen, period. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you've not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe, like, and share this video. I'll be back. Bye, guys.